So you have a lot here, a lot of elements going into this game. You're coming off of that loss, maybe trying to kind of bounce, but like prove something. You got Ime here, trying to keep a home streak alive. Do you embrace all of those extra elements and say use them as motivation, or do you say ignore all of those things because they take you away from your normal mental preparation?
I would say focus on, I don't think they really matter. I don't think they're as big a deal as people make them out to be. We're not looking to prove anything after a game. We're not looking to put pressure on ourselves to extend a winning streak. We're not looking to impress anybody. We're just looking to play a better game. And you know what my focus is today is over the last 3 or 4 games, there's been moments of greatness and moments where we have to grow at. And so we'll watch film before the game, and the focus will be some of the offensive trends that we need to get better at, some of the moments of greatness, and then the same thing on the defensive side of the ball. So we're not really out to prove anything. And obviously the fact Ime is back, that's great. We work together. We know guys on the staff, but I don't think that really has anything to do with winning or losing.
Talked a little bit on Thursday about the perspective from working with other organizations, what he might have brought from the Spurs. What specifically do you feel like you and the team gained most out of the year he was here?
Like I said, it's just different from Brad. I think everybody had been around Brad for so long, so it was one thing, and you just got to see a different perspective.
And, for the team, what was the biggest challenge for you? You're not Ime, you're a different coach, and they kind of came to expect that, over the year they had with him. Just being a different voice, being, a different coach, how difficult was that to kind of step into his shoes at the beginning of last year?
Yeah, I think no matter where you go, when you take over a job, you have to, the difficulty of building trust and buy-in is going to be the same. And so I think at the end of the day, it was more about being patient and developing what my identity was and what I wanted to be. Dealt with some of that too when I went from playing to coaching, and it was like, okay, I played for Beeline, I played for Hugs. Am I going to coach like Beaner? Am I going to coach like Hugs? Or am I going to take a little bit of both? And how am I going to be myself? And so I think regardless of who you take over for or what you do, at the end of the day, you're constantly shaping your identity, and you're going to use everybody that you played and coached for. And over time, you're going to have your own. And this is what I do. This is what others have done. This is what I learned from them,
Joe, at what point did you feel like you kind of found your coaching identity since you took over? And at what point do you feel like the team actually took that identity on?
That's a good question. I think there was a lot of moments of it last year. I think, to me, it goes back to what are the strengths of our team? What are the strengths of our roster? How can we maximize that? Coaching 3 years from now, you might run a completely different offense. You might run a completely different defense, So I think it's more about how do you build an alignment towards what we think the process of what we're doing is the right way to go about it, And so I'd say it would be unfair to say that, it wasn't my quote-unquote team last year, but I think just naturally having an off-season to go over what we think is the proper alignment to have like-minded, principles on both sides of the ball. And culturally, I think that just kind of comes with time,
Joe, you mentioned going over some of the offensive trends. What are those trends that you see?
We try to have a unique spacing in early offense, and sometimes we stray away from that, which then I think somebody asked a question about, are we settling, or are we, I don't necessarily think we're settling. I think when we don't get to the proper spacing, we don't see our automatics, the things that we have that we can go to right away. And so we have to find that balance of playing fast in transition, but then recognizing we don't have an advantage, and then quickly get to our automatic spacing so we could see the 4 or 5 things that we always go to. So you see bad shot selection and settling, I think, is for this team more of a byproduct of spacing recognition, matchup recognition. And so we just got to continue to fight for those possessions to get properly spaced so we could see all those things.
Delano Banton was in Maine earlier today. He was just recalled, but what are you hoping to see out of him and other players when they go up to Maine? What kind of role does those kinds of opportunities have for them?
It's dual. At the end of the day, just maintaining your confidence, maintaining, your conditioning. He took 28 shots, which is good because, he needs to be able to have confidence in his shot when he comes up here and plays. I took 7 threes, which is a shot that he's going to have to make when he plays with us. And so I think it's just patience as far as when your turn's coming, and then open-minded to this is a development phase, and this is an opportunity for you to continue to get better. So when you play with us, you have that confidence, you have those reps.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.